Either you're taking your clothes off or I'm taking them off for you. At first, Dylan seemed like everything I wanted in a boy, but inside, he was someone different, someone evil. And my relationship with him had me on the brink of collapse. When I first met Dylan, I fell fast. He was a junior, had long black hair, had the same taste in music. He was everything a freshman in her emo phase could want. I was bursting at the seams to tell him I loved him, but he also had a long-distance girlfriend, so I kept quiet. I kept my feelings inside. I even tried to stop how I felt to see him only as a friend, but my feelings didn't listen. The more time we spent together, the more in love with him I felt. One night, neither of us could sleep, so we texted each other in bed. They were just words on my screen, but they practically sang to me. Me and Brittany are over. I love you, Cam. There wasn't a happy enough emoji to capture how I felt, so I just jumped up and down on the bed and bit my lip to keep from squealing and waking my sister. We ended up speaking for hours, and by the end of the night, Dylan asked me out. I couldn't sleep and couldn't care less. I wanted that moment to last forever. At school, we'd walk down the halls at school with Dylan's arm wrapped around me. This was all I had ever wanted, and to finally be with Dylan felt like a dream. I was so happy. But then I started to notice how everyone kept asking him, "Where's Brittany? What happened to Brittany?" He'd just laugh and say, "Oh, I'm over that. I'm with Cameron now." It made me uncomfortable, but I didn't know what to say, so I just kept quiet. Then the truth came out. I was at his house when his phone buzzed and I saw the name Brittany on the screen. He tried to take the call out of earshot, but she was screaming and I heard everything. She told him she heard he was dating someone new. Dylan not only wasn't over Brittany, he hadn't even broken up with her. She told him it was over between them and hung up. Dylan started to sob, but I had my own sadness and anger to deal with, so I left. On the way home, he kept blowing up my phone, talking about how sorry he was, what a jerk he'd been for not telling me about Brittany, and for cheating on both of us. I was so upset and I had every reason to be done with him. But in the end, I still loved him, and I couldn't imagine my life without him. So I stayed. Like I said, I was so naive. Things seemed okay for about a month, but even though he had broken it off with Brittany, he was still wildly obsessed with her. "I never even met this girl, and now she wants to fight me?" Soon, the threats got angrier and more specific. She said she wanted to curb stomp me. I'd had enough. I told Dylan that she can try, but it won't end well for her. Dylan seemed to like us fighting over him. It seemed to make his desire for me stronger. Things only got worse from there. It started with what seemed like an innocent kiss, and then, "Take your clothes off." I told him I wasn't in the mood and my stomach was in knots. "Either you take your clothes off or I'll take them off for you." I was stunned. In the smallest voice possible, I asked, "What?" "Take them off!" he screamed. When I looked into his eyes, I didn't even recognize him. It wasn't the Dylan I fell in love with. This Dylan had taken a tool from his pocket and was holding it against my cheek. It was hypothetical, but the events that happened weren't. I was mistreated that day. Dylan said if I told anyone about what happened, he would go to my house to hurt me and then himself, leaving me alone in the world with no one. So once again, I said nothing for 8 months, and for 8 months, I suffered alone. What made it worse was that in public, he was so nice. He got along with our friends. My parents liked him. Nobody seemed to have any issues with him. But behind closed doors was another story. He would monitor what I ate and threatened to hurt me if I took a single bite more than he allowed. It got to the point that even when I ate alone, I'd hear him in my head, shaming me. So I ate little, and what I did, my body rejected. And soon, it was rejecting something else. I miscarried Dylan's baby at 14 years old. His grip on me grew tighter. He'd squeeze my arm as I texted my mom to ask permission to go to his house. There, it was the same routine. Sit and talk to his mom, pretending everything was fine, maybe watch a couple of sitcoms. But I'd grown incapable of laughter. When the shows were over, it was off to his room where he'd hurt me. And when that wasn't enough for him, he made me hurt myself. He asked me to send him naked pictures of myself. I knew it was wrong. I was 14, but I was also scared of my family's life. One day, my mom found them. I tried to tell her why I did it, about the hell I'd been going through, but she just called me a liar and took away my phone. I was alone, with not even my own family believing me. The truth is, Dylan had me where he wanted me, trapped. And no matter how much I fought it, his grip would get tighter and I'd continue to suffocate. Without my phone, I lost my connection to the outside world. The depression grew so heavy, it was burying me. I hurt myself regularly, and my eating disorder got so bad. I was 100 pounds, soaking wet. My hair was falling out. I was tired all the time. I barely had the energy to walk to my next class without passing out. I felt like a walking skeleton. But the most painful part was having to see his face every day, sitting there, laughing with his friends, hiding the monster hidden underneath. But then one day, Dylan didn't come to school. It was his first absence of the year. The first time I didn't have to see his face. I felt the weight of 1,000 suns lifted from my shoulders until my friend, Elaine, asked, "Where's Dylan?" Suddenly, I was picturing his face. My heart pounded. I gasped heavy breaths and practically collapsed into Elaine's arms. She led me to the bathroom and held my hair back as I threw up everything I had in me. All the stress, the fear, I cried all the tears I had left. But there was something else I couldn't keep inside any longer. The truth. Elaine put her arm around me and I told her everything. Then my friends Matt and Judah came to check on me, and I told them too. We all missed our next class, but no one cared. They were there for me. By lunch, I was all talked out, but that was okay, because now Elaine, Matt, and Judah did the talking for me, letting everyone else know what was happening, who Dylan really was. After we ate, Elaine went with me to the principal's office to tell them what was happening too. It was all out there now. It wasn't my problem to suffer alone, and now it was time for him to feel pain and suffer. The next day, Dylan returned to school. My friends refused to talk to him. When he tried to approach me, a teacher stepped in between and made him keep his distance. I was scared, curled up near my locker, afraid Dylan was going to go nuts, make good on his evil threats. But he just started crying like a baby and screaming about how they couldn't keep me from him and how much he loved me. My friend Nadine got right in his face. "You can't hurt someone, jeopardize their health, threaten their family, and then say you love them? Who do you think you are?" He was stunned. His pity party was over, and so was his reign of terror over me. After the confrontation, I decided to move schools and finish the year away from Dylan so that the healing could finally begin. It was difficult leaving my old friends behind, who helped me gain the courage to confront the boy who had been hurting me, and that I or anyone else doesn't need to go through problems alone. But I still saw them on weekends, and we hung out every chance we got. And in that last year, I never saw Dylan again. In fact, no one saw much of him. But you know who I did see? Brittany, the ex who wanted to curb stomp me. Turns out, she never said that or any of the things Dylan told me she did. In fact, he was telling her the same things about me with the same stories so that we would get angry to one another and continue to fight over him. Brittany and I continued speaking to each other about Dylan, and as time went on, we both realized we're more alike than we thought. We're both Tauruses, like the same music, the same foods, and we had something else in common. We were both victims of Dylan's violence, and through our similar struggles, we became friends. Today, I'm in college, playing music I love and hanging out with really good friends. Dylan's tried to contact me, but I blocked him on social media. I know he can't hurt me anymore. While I'm proud to say I'm back to a healthy weight, my recovery isn't all rosy. The medication has helped with my depression and anxiety, but my self-harm journey remains a battle. But as I write this, I'm proud to say I just reached 100 days harm-free. So many friends helped me through this experience, and I'm incredibly thankful. That's why I wanted to share my story, to let people going through similar struggles know that there are people out there who can help, that you're not alone, and you don't have to suffer alone.